If you can't excel with talent, triumph with effort. Every talent must unfold itself in fighting. Without perseverance, talent is a barren bet. Talents are meant to be shared. Embrace the glorious mess that you are. The courage to imagine the other voice is our greatest resource, adding color and suspense to all our life. To succeed in life, you need two things: ignorance and confidence. There can be no doubt that all our knowledge begins with experience. We become what we think about. It is what we learn after we think we know it all that counts. The negative questions of science are never popular. A science must deal with a subject and its properties. Philosophy is the science which considers truth. The man of science is a poor philosopher. Philosophy is empty if it isn't based on science. Science discovers, philosophy interprets. There is no reason why the history and philosophy of science should not be taught in such a way as to bring home to all pupils the grandeur of science and the scope of its discoveries. Science is simply common sense at its best. Science is a way of thinking much more than it is a body of knowledge. Science, when well digested, is nothing but good sense and reason. Science is simply the word we use to describe a method of organizing our curiosity. Science is nothing but trained and organized common sense. Every science begins as philosophy and ends as art. The art and science of asking questions is the source of all knowledge. All good science is art and all good art is science. Number is different from quantity. There is no must in art because art is free. Every artist was first an amateur. The aim of art is not to represent the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. Art has the power to transform, to illuminate, to educate, inspire, and motivate. Flow with your creative spirit. Art is an irreplaceable way of understanding and expressing the world. Art is something that makes you breathe with a different kind of happiness. Study the science of art, study the art of science, develop your senses, especially learn how to see, realize that everything connects to everything else. This is the real genetics. A shy, darling boy falls in love with a blonde. She breaks his heart, and he becomes a monk who studies pea plants. The noble aim of university teaching is the lifting of mankind to a higher appreciation of the ideas of life and truth. It has to cultivate the most intimate connection between theory and practice, between abstract science and actual life. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, not the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. Responsibility is a grace we give ourselves. To live without experiencing some shame and blushes of admiration would surely be a wretched life. I am convinced that it will not be long before the whole world acknowledges the results of my work. Own your biases, don't be owned by them. To be bold is to set fear behind you. Be original, don't be scared of being bold. I do find it a bit disconcerting when your name becomes a brand. I am always making a conscious effort to be viable and accessible. Don't be afraid to take on big challenges, they give the best rewards. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. I never teach my pupils, I only provide the conditions in which they can learn. Most teachers waste their time by asking questions that are intended to discover what a pupil doesn't know, whereas the true art of questioning is to discover what the pupil does know or is capable of knowing. Winning can be defined as the science of being totally prepared. Don't be afraid of being a beginner. Logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. The mediocre mind is incapable of understanding the man who refuses to bow blindly to conventional prejudices and chooses instead to express his opinions courageously and honestly. Divine souls suffer violent opposition from mediocre minds. It is the habit of mediocre minds to condemn all that is beyond their grasp. Mediocrity is the worst enemy of prosperity. Mediocrity is excellent to the eyes of mediocre people. Mediocre minds usually dismiss anything which reaches beyond their own understanding. We have found in all our research studies that the signature of mediocrity is not an unwillingness to change. The signature of mediocrity is chronic inconsistency. Better to fail spectacularly than do something mediocre. The difference between mediocrity and excellence is often a matter of effort. Mediocrity is self-inflicted, genius is self-bestowed. The difference between greatness and mediocrity is often how an individual views a mistake. The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge but imagination. Try not to become a man of success but rather try to become a man of value. Never give up on what you really want to do. The person with big dreams is more powerful than the one with all the facts. It has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity. In order to succeed, your desire for success should be greater than your fear of failure. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to goals, not to people. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. A student is not a container you have to fill, but a torch you have to light up. The only thing that interferes with my learning is my education. Education is not the learning of facts but training the mind to think. I have no special talent, I am only passionately curious. There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle, other is as though everything is a miracle. Not everything that counts can be counted, and not everything that can be counted counts. I'm happy because I want nothing from anyone. Anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Those who dare to fail miserably can achieve greatly. I have failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeeded. I have never in my life learned anything from any man who agreed with me. I have tried 99 times and have failed, but on the 100th time came success. I have to keep reminding myself that I am an adult and will be charged as one. Never, never, never give up. If you have never seen failure, you have never seen success. Never let success get to your head. Never let failures get to your heart. Only I can change my life. No one can do it for me. I changed my thinking. It changed my life. Success isn't overnight. It's when every day you get a little better than the day before. It all adds up. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says impossible. As I struggle to put together a life for myself based on my terms and my needs, in other words, a life worth living, it all boiled down to building my self-confidence. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. There is nothing impossible to they who will try. Failure will never overtake you if your determination to succeed is strong enough. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. Change the changeable, accept the unchangeable, and remove yourself from the unacceptable. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. It is often the small steps, not the giant leaps, that bring about the most lasting change. If you put yourself in a situation of unpredictability and then find that it's completely possible to accept it, then you become an observer. You can change all things for the better when you change yourself for the better. You cannot change the circumstances, but you can change yourself. That is something you have charge of. When we can no longer change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. You can't spell challenge without change. If you are going to rise to the challenge, you have to be prepared to change. I have nothing in common with lazy people who blame others for their lack of success. Great things come from hard work and perseverance, no excuses. If your life changes, we can change the world too. Change your life by changing your thoughts. The word lucky is how a lazy person describes someone who works hard. When people are successful, they usually become lazy. People are not lazy, they simply have important goals, that is, goals that don't inspire them. If you are positive, you will see opportunities instead of obstacles. If you have a positive attitude and constantly strive to give your best effort, eventually you will overcome your immediate problems. Stay positive, better days are on their way. If you want to change the future, you must change what you are doing in the present. Only through suffering do you have change and self-improvement. ऑनरेबल व्यूअर्स, अगर आप मेरे चैनल को ग्रोथ देना चाहते हैं तो आप इस नीचे दिए गए सुपर थैंक्स बटन को क्लिक करके मेरे चैनल की